I have felt really angry that pornography fueled my problem because it was in circulation in my society, in my culture, when I was 10 years old. Under the age of 10, as a small child, I suppose almost innocently I'd masturbated. But when I was 10, I discovered pornography in woodlands near my home, and I immediately found it attractive. It immediately aroused me, and that began to fuel the masturbation so that it became more serious, more compulsive. The way that I coped with this problem when I was a teenager, I don't think was very effective, really. I think I was too young to really know how to get help, and I was very embarrassed. I was so disappointed that although I kept coming back to God and repenting and turning over a new leaf, that I could not seem to really find proper victory over this problem. I was continually drawn back to it. I began to feel hypocritical. I felt ashamed. I couldn't tell anybody. There was no prospect of that. I felt somebody might find out, and so I felt isolated. I felt I had a deep, dark secret that could be revealed, and I had to cover it up. So I didn't feel that relaxed in fellowship. Then when I got married, I shared it with my husband, and he was understanding, and I made a lot of progress. I think my main problem after that was the fact that my mind was quite full of fantasies, and I felt like it needed reprogramming. But by the time I got to middle age, I was still aware that there was a problem there, which was quite deep-rooted, and I needed to do something about it. A few years ago, I actually had a very bad attack of sciatica. As I was having prayer for that, somebody encouraged me to confess any sins that hadn't been confessed, and so I took the plunge and I actually said, I've got a serious problem with lust. So that was the start, and I didn't think it was very momentous, but in fact I did notice that something changed a bit within me, that I was able to share it a bit more, and I was able to be more open. At that point where I really sort of came out, as it were, I didn't notice a tremendous difference, but about 2 or 3 weeks later I noticed that my mind was totally different, and I really do feel that it's been cleansed. And I'm sure I'll always have a vulnerability, but I felt that I've been able to overcome temptation. I haven't felt so tempted, and I just feel that after a process of many years that God in his mercy he's gradually brought me through various stages, and he really has cleansed my mind now. And I would say to anybody who's got a similar problem, don't give up on God. I think there's such a temptation to feel that you're a failure, that you're a hypocrite, that maybe your faith doesn't work, maybe God isn't there. But I would say I've proved God was there. Then I would also say, really do try to mention it to somebody else. Bearing one another's burdens, I think, is such an important part of this. If you find that isn't enough, then I would suggest that you try to find a group, because I think there's real power in several Christians praying together, particularly those who've got a similar problem.